What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your host, Dillon Schroeder, here for a special episode of Party Chat Sports. Yes, NFL season is right around the corner, but we just got done with quite possibly one of the most energetic MLB trade deadlines we've ever seen. There was moves happening left, right, and center. And there are some winners and there are some losers. And today we're going to go back to one of our old show formats, stock up, stock down, as many people do. Some teams that helped themselves out and some teams that did not. And in the MLB trade deadline, you have your teams that are buying and teams that are selling. So you think, oh, the teams that bought went up and the teams that sold went down. Not necessarily here. We will go ahead and break down a couple of picks for some stock up, stock down teams with how they handled the trade deadline and what they were able to acquire. So we'll jump back and forth. We'll talk about some stuff, and then we'll keep on trucking towards this wild card chase, which is really what I think a lot of people are paying attention to before we hit some postseason baseball. In accordance with our NFL football season, it's going to be great. Everything's coming to a head here at once. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the first team that is stock on the rise, and that is the Athletics. This team, they really made some moves, and they traded away Mason Miller, J.P. Sears, and they acquired the number 3 prospect in all of baseball, shortstop Leo DeVries, instantaneously their number 1 overall prospect. They traded away guys. They traded away a closer who Mason Miller, really fun prospect, throws very hard, did very well, but they had him as homegrown talent. He turned into an all-star, and they sold him high. I mean, textbook business evaluation perspective. We throw in J.P. Sears, and they get not only the number 1 prospect, they get their new number 5 prospect, a young right-handed pitcher, a new number 9 prospect, in another pitcher, and then a number 17 prospect onto their board. So I can't rave enough about what the Athletics did. Added 5 prospects from the top 30 pool at the trade deadline here. Also, they sent out Miguel Adjar to the Reds for a young right-handed pitcher there as well. So they added 5 prospects to their top 30, including the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. With their infield, you got Nick Kurtz there. They've solidified themselves to be really good for quite some time. They got Lawrence Butler over there as well. So Oakland Athletics, they should never left Oakland, so that's what I'm going to call them. They're setting themselves up for a bright future. Their stock is definitely up right now. Think like 2020 Orioles when they had all those prospects on the cusp. I think the Athletics have done a tremendous job here this year at the trade deadline and selling high on some really good players. So that's team number 1. They're obviously winners. They're stock up for them. The first stock down team that we're going to talk about is the Chicago White Sox. They basically did nothing after being terrible. They do not trade away Luis Robert Jr., which you could argue that's okay because he's kind of tanked his own value by not playing so well the past year and a half. But I mean, all they did was acquire 3 prospects, only one of which is a top 30 prospect, for a team in a large market. To just not do anything. I went to a White Sox game earlier this year. That place is empty. Man, it's a tough look, and I don't know what you do if you're a White Sox fan. I'm sorry. You're just in a level of purgatory that who knows when you will see the end of. They did not help themselves get any better, and they didn't sell. They're just standing pat in purgatory, which is perhaps the worst thing that you can do, is to do nothing when you are not successful. So the White Sox, stock down. Stock up, another team so those 2 teams were sellers. Our first buying stock up team that I'm going to talk about is the Padres, a team that actually made that trade with the A's to send all those prospects away. But a team that they were in the position to do that, okay? They are in the holders of the last wild card spot, and they went out and they got some dudes to help their team. I'm just pulling it up on one of my other screens here. They go out and they get Mason Miller, like previously mentioned. They get J.P. Sears. And then they also go ahead from the Orioles and they get both, I want to make sure I pronounce his name right, Ramon Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn, and they also got a Freddie Fermin. So they went out and they did exactly what you're supposed to do when you're a cusp wild card team. You're in that fight, and they bought and they helped solidify a lot of different weaknesses on their team. And now they're a much better team that they were pre-trade deadline, and they have a 3-game lead or so on that wild card spot, and they just set themselves up to have perhaps a deep postseason run. Obviously, in baseball, it all matters what your big spenders are going to do. But San Diego, a big spender themselves, they went out and they got some weapons here to help them on a postseason run. So good for San Diego. One of those weird win-wins. San Diego's going to get some playoff success out of this potentially, and Oakland, the Athletics, are setting themselves up for future success. So we will see how this all plays out, but stock is up for both teams in a win-win kind of scenario there. The other stock down is the Pittsburgh Pirates, probably the worst general manager in all of North American sports, you could argue. Really did nothing. They did acquire 9 prospects, only 4 of which are going to be on their top 30 list. Really nothing notable. Their big trade is sending Brian Hayes over to the Reds, a division rival, for a couple of their young prospects. The main one, number 9 prospect, Sammy Stafura, who is a 20-year-old that probably won't play in the major leagues for about 5 years. And by then, you're supposed to be building this team around Paul Skeens right now, and by then, Paul Skeens is going to be gone. The Pirates, once again, stuck in purgatory. They had multiple trade contenders to where they could sell higher on some guys than what they paid for. Tommy Pham, one instance where he came, they signed him cheap. He got LASIK surgery and he turned into an MVP caliber player, and they kept him. And now they're going to lose him in free agency and get nothing out of him. But they're going to keep him for another 2 months and keep going on this 20 games under 500 pace. It's just idiotic. And just a team with no direction and no plan. You got Paul Skeens, great, and they've done absolutely nothing else to justify anything. They brought back Andrew McCutchen after he has been gone from the team for 5 years because they wanted to relive some 2011 glory days or something. I don't know. But not committing to a sell on some of your guys that you clearly could have upgraded, and just overall just a frightening lack of plan for the Pittsburgh Pirates and their GM, one of the worst in North American sports in general there. So they're our last stock down team, and our last stock up team is going to be the Philadelphia Phillies, a team who are towards the top of their division. They're in a race with the Mets right now. Who they go out, they get Duran from the Twins, who is an excellent back of the bullpen piece, and really they gave up some prospects here, but they also get Harrison Bader too. That was the other thing I was remembering. They go out, they get Harrison Bader, they get an arm, they get a bat, and for a team that's already pretty loaded, you're in a gun race with an arms race, as you will, with the New York Mets. And the Mets also go out and they get a couple of players too. You can put stock up for the Mets on here as well if you want as a bonus team. But both of those teams really going out and adding some weapons. The Phillies, though, I mean, when you already got the core there, and they just add a few pieces, add a flamethrower, add a Harrison Bader who's going to bring the speed and a bat and great defense out there in the outfield. Phillies did a pretty good job there from a prospect perspective. They traded away 5 prospects, and 3 of them were in their top 30. I mean, to go out and get some impact players, I don't think that's that bad at all. So overall, there's your stock up and down. You can also you can make a case on all 30 teams if their stock's gone up and down. I mean, teams like the Orioles they added 15 prospects, and 6 of those guys in the top 30. The Twins added 10 prospects, 6 of those guys in the top 30 as well. The Washington Nationals sellers added 10 prospects, 7 of which were top 30. So a lot of these teams bolstering. The Diamondbacks sold on some of their key players, 9 prospects, 8 of which were in the top 30. So I think Diamondbacks added the most top 30 prospects out of all the teams. So maybe setting themselves up for success in the future. So without further ado, I'll kind of leave it there, but comment down below what you think of my stock up and down picks, who you think improved their stock up or down. Subscribe for more Party Chat sports content. NFL coming your way hot and heavy here pretty soon. Maybe some more MLB content as playoffs roll around. Subscribe to the channel. like the video as well. And summer's ending, fall's right around the corner. Sports are heating back up. Here we go. Peace.